I will talk about unjs, unified JavaScript solutions today. So I think that could also be something interesting. Who of you heard of that before? OK. Oh, wow, a few more hands than expected. Yeah, a few more hands here. Good, good, very good. OK, so let's take a look. A few words about me. Dave already introduced me. So yeah, I'm Alex, web development consultant, speaker and instructor. I'm also affiliated a little bit with Next.js, so in the community, very active there. I have Twitter, website, yeah, you know the drill, GitHub. And yeah, now coming to an important point, JavaScript runs everywhere, right? Nowadays, it doesn't matter if it's in a browser or, well, with Node.js on the server or on your PC. We have Deno, and we have even the edge workers, edge handlers, however I want to call it. So there are lots of platforms. And this is amazing, but it also comes with a problem, because now picking NPM packages becomes more and more difficult, right? Ideally, like any package out there would support, yeah, CJS, so like a little bit of legacy, ESM, like the new modern syntax. Running via Deno, that would be amazing if all packages would support Deno as well. And ideally, yeah, TypeScript. Types, ideally, that would be great. But yeah. And now let's just take a look for these packages. Let's scavenge through NPM. But before, the thing is why? Why should we look for them? Well, software requirements can, no, that looks wrong. Software requirements will change. That's the thing. It's always like, OK, hey, can we like deploy to a new sick platform? Can we like go to the edge? How about that? Or maybe to lambdas? Yeah, cool. Or let's use SSR. It's amazing. We just saw it in talks today. And yeah, let's see which package break now. Well, this solution is use modern packages. Oh, easy, right? So ideally, those who are universally usable, right, with almost no dependencies, maybe like a few sub-dependencies, who support all common formats, nice. And yeah, now we're looking. We're taking a look. And we're looking and searching. And at some point, we still search. Ah, there we go. Well, almost. I think I forgot my glasses. Anyway, let's take a look at that from another side. So when going all the way back to Nuxt 2 development, who of you used Nuxt 2? Quite some people. That's nice. So yeah, during the development, it was also clear, like, yeah, more and more functionalities, right? People have different needs. Amazing. But what to do with them? If we just add them all to the core, it gets a little bit bloated, right? So yeah, maybe not add them all to the core, maybe like extract them. Everything that's like Nuxt related, we can maybe extract it as a module. But everything that's like general logic, why not use it as a standalone NPM package, right? And now we're like, yeah, OK, another NPM package. I think some of you already have that XKCD in mind, I'm pretty sure. So why external packages? First of all, they're decoupled from the Nuxt core. Then, so it means they're easier to test. They are better to maintain as well. And they can be used throughout projects, especially in projects that are not related to Nuxt at all. So it's a benefit for, in the end, every JavaScript developer who needs such a package, right? And yeah, here it is. Here it is. Why not external packages? Well, that can happen too, of course. But that's the merit of living in the JavaScript ecosystem right now. And eventually, like even 5 years ago, even maybe older, that's GitHub organization there, Nuxt contributions, was created to, yeah, basically have a place for all these external packages. Great. So packages that are used in Nuxt or Nuxt projects that help it out, but that are not necessarily fully related to Nuxt. So you have something like Connect or Express middleware in there, great, or even testing tools, and also classic utilities. And at some point, this evolved further to be more than like just, OK, we dump all external packages there. It's more than that. It's unjs. Unjs. Get that? And actually, I found this little tweet here a couple of days ago. It's way older than that, but from you who said, like, yeah, I'm excited not just about Nuxt 3, but also the amazing project powered it under github.com/unjs. It's like treasure trove of great stuff. And well, if he says it, it must be true, right? OK, let's take a look. There's a website, unjs.io, and it will look like this. And there are lots of packages there. We won't have the time to go through all of them, obviously. But we will have a decent look at some of them. So First of all, who has dealt with transforming URLs or paths? Oh, wow, not as many as I thought. OK, then please tell me how. Sorry? It's fun, but how you do it? Regex, for example. Yeah, what was that? Regex as well? Yeah, regex, nice. You write lots of regex, cool. Maybe you use URL search params. There are lots of different ways, but yeah, it can get quite tedious. So let me showcase you UFO, URL utils for humans. The idea is it's a tiny package, it's tree shakeable, and you can add like lots of functionalities from the package. For example, you can normalize URLs, which means they're all encoded, and the protocol is preserved, and they have like all like a similar format. You can join and resolve URLs while keeping the query and the hash, very important. You can remove and add trading a leading slash. You can deduplicate slash as well. So lots of cool features. And of course, way more. Again, we don't have time to dig into all of that. So again, yeah, show me the code, right? Here we go. Let's import join URL from UFO. Easy. And we can say join URL, my nice URL. And this will just stick them together. It doesn't matter if it has a leading or trading slash. Only for the last one it's important, because then it's there or not. Cool. And now, OK, we said what's with the query and maybe hash. There. What will this yield? Oh, well, a question mark query. That doesn't look right. Because for that, there's another function called resolve URL. So this has like a little bit more logic than just stitching them together. And if we pass in that and maybe even like another hash, we see it will work fine. Great, so you don't have to deal with like regex, splitting here, checking for question mark and hash and whatnot. It's a tiny function, it's well tested, and it works well. Same for cleaning double slash, right? Same idea. We get the result without like double, triple, whatever slash. For example, when stitching URLs together, that helps a lot. And eventually, we can even use parse URL to get like all the small details. So the path name, the query params, the hash, if it's there, otherwise an empty string. And if it's like a full URL, even protocol, host, and so on. So lots of goodies here. OK. And now we go to the next one, which is H3. Daniel already mentioned it today. H3 is a minimal HTTP framework, also built during, well, inventing Nuxt 3, so to say, and rewriting the whole thing, and even more than that. So now the question is, another framework. Yeah, JS fatigue, I get you. There are so many other frameworks for Node.js already, right? We have like Connect, Express, Fastify, Goa, Happy.js, and yeah, I don't know all of them, but there are way more. So why not a framework? The reason is because H3 is, first of all, platform agnostic. That's very important. So it can run in a serverless environment, in workers, in Node.js, without a big deal. That it just works. No matter where you might migrate in the future, it won't break. Then it's compatible with existing stacks, which mean you can just use your like classic Connect or Express middleware. You don't have to like reinvent middleware again and again. So it has some like legacy compatibility. Helpful, I think. Then it's also very minimal because it's tiny and it's tree shakeable. If you don't need a function of that, well, then you don't have to import it, and you keep your bundle small, your JS small. Especially nice if you have like lambdas. It's important for cold start to have like a small size. And of course, it's also modern. So it has not unlike Connect, like the modern native promise support. Great. It's extendable, so yeah, you can customize it. You have composable utilities that can even be extended. And also very nice, a built-in router, which is actually another standalone package of unjs, but we won't get into detail that much. So how do we use it? Well, first of all, we import two functions, create app and create router, and then we say const app equals create app. So far, nothing special, right? Then we instantiate the router, and then we say, OK, we say get, then our index page, and say hello Berlin, or hello Berlin. And then let's do something with page parameters. So we'll say color, and then colon color, and say like we emit I like this color. OK. Then we say, OK, this app should use the router as middleware. And eventually, we use listen with an H there, which is another package to just have like a nice server listener. Don't like fall back to native Node features and just use listen. So that's the code to get started. And you can just check it out, or we just take a look right here. So in the package JSON, it's really just that, H3 and listen. And now in Next.js, it's a little bit more because I don't want to like switch between light and dark mode, you know. So let's just see how this looks like. Hello Berlin, that's it. And if we say like a color, can someone tell me color? Gray. And pink. Hot pink. Is it an HTML color? It is. It is. There we go. Easy. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, with like a little bit of code, it's just like, OK, we can easily omit HTML there with h3. And now one thing that doesn't work out of the box with h3, but there is a reason for that. So let's say we get into the editor, and we say, OK, we have I like color here. Let's say I enjoy color, and we save. It's saved in StackBlitz. We take this. We reload this. Nothing happens. Because h3 has no built-in HMR. That's very important. It tends to be minimal. So any feature you need on top, well, there's another package to solve that. OK. So demo is on there. Slide link will be given to you later. And now an interesting part is like, OK, there's so many packages out there. Are they actually used except for building Next 3? Yes. So of course, NitroPack, Daniel already showed a little bit. We have a look at that as well. Next 3, as I mentioned, yes, of course. It's like a product that came out basically because Next 3 is there. There's Gestalt.js, which is a modern full-stack and batteries-included framework. Serve, a lightweight starting point for API applications. And Vueo H3. If you know Vueo, I did not before. It's a full-stack TypeScript framework, and their support of that for H3. So it's used throughout the ecosystem, and I hope to see more and more people using H3, not only in Nuxt context, because there can be like amazing things built with it. OK. The next one is unstorage as a universal storage layer. So usually, when you think of storage in terms of front end, it's like, yeah, of course, local storage, right? And unstorage is a powerful universal storage layer, which means, yeah, it supports local storage on the front end. But if you, for example, need like file system, Node.js, or, well, we have a couple of other things. Let's say a GitHub repository, or maybe just in-memory, which works as well, or like a DB, like a key value store, then it will have you covered. It has like a common interface for all of them, and it can be customized as well. Very important here, the unified API and the size, smaller than 5 KB. If you compare it to, for example, local forage, that library, it's around 30 KB, so that's a huge difference, also for performance. Yeah, as I said, lots of support even for HTTP. So you can say like, yeah, OK, getting an item out of storage is an HTTP call, setting one is a put HTTP call, and so on. And yeah, GitHub repositories, support for Cloudflare's KV store, Redis, and so on and so on. And it can be extended. You can write a driver for your database or use case. It's not that big of a deal. You just have to implement the methods. And yeah, it's also supported being used on the server side as a storage server, which can help a lot too. We will see this in a bit. So here's the example again. We use listen, we use h3, we got it already, right? That's like the code we had before, just saying now we have a file server now. And then we say, create storage from unstorage. And then we say, OK, we want to pick the file system driver. And we say, good, OK, let's create the storage. The driver is the file system driver, and the base is the current folder. And eventually, we say, OK, we want to create a storage server. And there you go. And then we add it to the router of H3 as a middleware again, the handler of the storage server. And as the link shows here, here we go. I just tapped twice. And in the preview, I built like a little thing. So let's zoom out a bit here. I hope it's still readable for you. Can you all read that? Good. So we have a storage folder here. And let me not spoil the fun and delete these quickly. And we have a name, anything. Or let's say name, I don't know, Peter. And content, Parker. And now we say, add item. And magically, the file Peter popped up here. And if we open it in the editor, let me just quickly do that again, it shows Parker here. So a very simple thing, that's a page that you just seen, is basically just sending a fetch call here through window.fetch. It's written in Petite Vue, if you don't know that, very good thing. And what's happening is just the code you've seen, plus like a small script, small front-end part to send requests, and you can save arbitrary files. You can even get them. You can get to like /storage/Peter, and we'll show you Parker. Or go to /storage in general, and then you see all the keys it has. Of course, like with protection, stuff would be better, but that's just the example. So it's very easy to set up storage server in this case. And we still like hotping, it seems. So yeah. Again, some usages are mentioned by. So there is a plugin for Pinia, an unstorage plugin. So you can persist your storage through unstorage. It can be any driver. Usually use like local storage. But that could work too, and it's very easy to set up. Check it out. Then there's a German article called Fabians Webperlen, episode 15, about unstorage, actually, with a repo. So if you're interested in that and know German or want to use a translator, give it a go. There's file computed, where the idea is to execute calculations when the file content changes, and that's also based on unstorage. And of course, Nuxt tree, Nuxt bridge. OK, so far so good. Also, very important to mention, there are also projects like front-end projects or full-stack projects outside of the Nuxt tree ecosystem, and not just like libraries or extensions that are using it. So that's just one example. So it is used, and I hope it will be used even more, because it's a very nice library that will help you regarding storages. And now we come to Nitro. You heard a little bit about Nitro already, but still, the idea is it's a toolchain and a runtime framework at once, right? It comes with HMR out of the box, which is very important. We saw H3 has no HMR by default. Nitro has. Nitro already uses HMR. And it supports various route rules, as Daniel already showcased in his talk. Yay. Incremental static generation. It's customizable, it's configurable, it's extendable. What do you want more, right? And it's, you can see there's a broad but it uses lots of unjs packages. As I said, H3, unstorage for caching, for example, UFO for URL handling, all that. So the idea is to eventually deploy a JavaScript server, whatever this one does, to any provider without changing the code base, right? So you don't want to change the code base just because you're migrating, ideally. In this case, you change like the config, or ideally Nitro auto-detects it, and it just says, oh, let's use the Netlify preset instead of Razzle preset. You're good to go. OK, let's take a look at the example here. So again, this time we have more than just a file. So if we take a look at the index.js here, it looks like the example from H3, and we will delete it right away because we don't need it. In the package.json, we have nitropack, which is the package name. And for start, we have nitropack.dev, which does the magic, so to say. And now we have routes here with an index, and we just return Hello Berlin again. So let's me quickly zoom in, go for preview. There you go. Works. If we now go to color and type in, for example, yellow, we see, ooh, I like yellow. Great. So how did that happen? In the routes folder, and that should be actually in the routes folder, but it's OK. That's just a little updated. OK, there we go. We have the color.js. It can also be TypeScript, so it's fully typed. And in there, it's the same content than before. But now is the interesting part. If we take both and select I like yellow, we can like read it, and change it with I heart yellow. It should be HMR, but at least it's after full refresh, it is refreshing. That's probably on Stackbots, but still. Let's go back. Nope, doesn't like me today, but still. You see, it will update. You don't have to restart Nitro again for that. OK, so we have lots of goodies. Again, you can also add, for example, a Nitro config in here to configure, like, oh, I want to use, for example, this storage. I want to pull in these files. You can even read files from the server in your routes there. And the good thing is also all of that will work the same way in Next.js. Unless you don't need the Nitro config, you just configure that in your Nuxt config TS itself, or JS itself. OK. So again, very important section. Nitro is used and mentioned by. Yeah, OK, we got that. But there's stacks.js, which is a progressive and atomic full-stack framework. There is, and that could be interesting, like vuejs repository, and there is an RFCs bot to handle the RFC creation through the GitHub API. And it uses Nitro as the base to export like the server routes for API calls. So feel free to take a look at that repository as well. Same goes for issues app. where there's also a GitHub bot, also by Anthony Fu, same for the RFCs bot. And the idea here is to say, like, to mirror issues for the upstream repositories, so they're like created automatically, and you don't have to file a bug report there. It will just be done. Also, totally unrelated to the ecosystem again, JJW proxy, which is a customizable Cloudflare Workers proxy, also working with Nitro. Great. And there are way more packages. We don't have time for all of them, so we have examples already. In addition, we have Unplugin, which is a unified plugin system for all major bundlers, like Vite, Rollup, Webpack, ESBuild. Because you can write plugins for them as well, and if you want to write your plugin for all of them, that's a very nice way, because else you have to duplicate logic and so on, and we don't want that. Untyped, it's amazing, because you can just generate types in Markdown from a config object. Again, like these are used in Nuxt, for example, to generate the API page. That's very helpful. We have Consoler, which is a beautiful universal console logger. It's also used, I think, in several framework projects. Same for Webpack bar, to show like the progress bar for Webpack, which is used in Razzle and Next.js. We have Hookable for an async hook system, and way more. So please just check it out, read through it, lots of opportunities. And now we talk about contributors, because, well, open source is not much without contributors. So if you browse along the organization, if you like check issues, you'll see some images quite often, mainly like these three. One of them is even here. There he is. So yeah, but also, besides these three people who are maintaining all these amazing packages, there are so many individual contributors of each project that maybe add some documentation, add new features, file bugs, and fixing typos, and that's important too, actually. So first of all, thanks to all of them. Thanks to all of the amazing open source contributors. And now we come to the outro. So first of all, it's not easy to pick an NPM package nowadays that supports almost all platforms and needs, right? And writing and maintaining these isn't too easy either. So extracting isolated features helps maintainability, obviously, and reusability throughout the ecosystem. We saw that too. The unjs packages don't only power Nuxt, but also many other frameworks, libraries, and they can be used for your applications as well. And very important, not related to all of that, Hacktoberfest 22 is on, so if you want to get into open source, that's your time. OK, almost last. Thanks a lot to my sponsors who sponsor me on GitHub. And that's it. Thanks a lot for your attention. Thank you.